I felt like my thoughts and my lyrics and all my notebooks were just useless.
You think Zoe's story is sad? No, it's way worse than you think, because there's a truth buried in her past. One that explains why she's always felt torn, lost, and never enough. Once you learn it, everything about Zoey makes sense, and it hurts. So stick with me through each of these reveals, because by the end, you'll see why this changes everything. Number 1, the divorce secret. Okay, the first reveal. The movie shows this, but never says it out loud. Zoey grew up in a broken home. But what's heartbreaking isn't that the family broke, it's why. And Zoey was there for all of it. She was just a kid, tiny and scared, crying in her room, while her parents screamed on both sides of the door. But here's what the movie never shows. They weren't fighting about normal things. Her mom was hiding something huge, something supernatural. Think about it, nightmares about demon battles she couldn't explain to her husband, flinching at sounds that triggered buried memories. Then one day, we have to leave Korea. Now. No explanation. Because how do you tell your husband you used to hunt demons? Zoey's mom was running from a world she refused to talk about, and that secrecy destroyed their marriage. All Zoey knew was she had to split herself in two. One version for dad, another for mom. Not a single place where she belonged. And based on the evidence, there's a very high chance this is true. But this is just the beginning, because Zoey didn't just inherit her mother's pain. She inherited something way more dangerous. Number 2, her spiritual sickness. Now, let's go into her notebook, and this one's even more painful. Sometimes she wrote in English, sometimes Korean, sometimes both, like her brain couldn't pick one. Lyrics about bleeding, tears, being two people in one body. You're thinking, sad teenager stuff, right? Wrong, because there's this line that gave me chills. When I lose my words, I go Rambo. Sounds like a rap lyric, but when you go deeper, it's terrifying. And here's why. In Korean tradition, kids from spiritual families sometimes develop shinbyung, a spiritual sickness, not physical, spiritual, a feeling like you don't belong anywhere, constant ache in your chest, dreams you can't understand, a pull toward something you've never seen, and losing your words. Classic first symptom of shinbyung. She thought she was writing rap bars, but she was documenting a spiritual crisis. Her pain wasn't just about her identity. It was her spiritual inheritance trying to wake her up. Her soul remembered, but her mind forgot. The next reveal, it's hidden in the most iconic scene of the movie. Number 3, the golden clue. Now here's where the movie gives us visual proof in the golden scene. The moment Zoey gets pulled by two hands, one male, one female. But right as this happens, listen to what she sings.
I live two lives, try to play both sides.
Most people think that's just about being Korean American. But watch what actually happens in the scene. The song and the imagery, they're telling the same story. Two lives, two hands, two worlds pulling her apart. But here's what almost nobody notices. At the exact moment those hands pull her, she drops something, a magazine, and on the cover are the Sunlight Sisters. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, cool detail. But here's what you need to understand. The movie doesn't animate something that specific by accident. That magazine represents everything Zoey lost. Her roots, her heritage, a family story she never got to hear. She drops it the same way she lost her past, forced out of her hands before she even knew what it meant. A story that's way more personal than you think. And we'll get to that later in the video. This leads us to the question nobody's asking. Number 4, Seline's lifelong watch. How did a demon hunting group in Korea find one Korean American teenager in Burbank, California? Out of millions of kids? Think about it. Seline didn't stumble upon Zoey by accident. She didn't find her through some random talent search. No, Seline was watching her for years. Here's what makes this heartbreaking. She wasn't looking for talent. She was looking for the daughter of her lost teammate, the child who would inherit the power the world would need one day. And imagine how painful that must have been for Seline, watching Zoey struggle through her identity crisis, her loneliness, her confusion, and knowing exactly why. Knowing that one day, Zoey would have to face the world her mother ran from. She could only watch and wait. But why was Seline watching Zoey her entire life? This next reveal, it's the missing piece, the theory that changes everything. Number 5, the third sister. What if Zoey's mom was the missing third Sunlight sister? I know that sounds impossible, but just think about it. The Sunlight sisters disappeared a long time ago. Zoey's mom fled Korea around the same time, and Zoey inherited powers that only pass through family lines. Coincidence? I don't think so. The way Zoey looks like the third sister, right down to the exact same twin bun hairstyle. In animation, that is never an accident. A hunter group breaks up after a misunderstanding. One member flees to America and hides her entire past. And her daughter grows up with powers. Zoey's mom wasn't just hiding from demons. She was hiding from a past filled with terrible things. And she thought the only way to protect her daughter was to run. But running didn't erase Zoey's destiny. It only delayed it. Seline wasn't watching a random girl. She was protecting her teammate's daughter, waiting for the day Zoey would be ready to come home. And that's the most beautiful tragedy in the entire movie.